And coming down the line from the right, the HH-60 Pave Hawk helicopters from the 88 Training and Evaluation Squadron. They're best known as the Jollies. The PJ team on board. Be sure to give them a big wave. Well, the air show action continues now in the skies over Nellis Air Force Base as our flying display continues. And in just a moment, we're going to be introducing to you a guy who is considered to be one of the best air show performers this country has to offer. And his name is Bill Stein. Bill Stein is on the takeoff roll now as he prepares for his air start. And this, the Zivco Edge 540, one of the world's most impressive aerobatic superplanes. Bill Stein has over 5,000 hours of aerobatic and formation time and is regarded, as I mentioned, as one of the finest air show entertainers. He began flying aerobatics when he was still a student pilot and has dedicated to perfecting his skills ever since. He's been performing on the circuit for more than 30 years and even flew on tour with the famed Red Baron Pizza Squadron. Today, he's going to be ringing it out as we see a display of high-energy, bone-crushing aerobatics. Bill Stein, the recipient of the ICAS Sword of Excellence, and most recently in 2021 was the recipient of the coveted Art Scholl Memorial Showmanship Award. Beginning his routine at about 1,000 feet above the ground as he sets up for his air start, he's going to dive in and we're going to see some incredible aviating by this guy known as the coach's coach. And for all of our friends down in the Flight Line Club and the premium box seats, a big hello to you. I hope you're all having a great time. And for those of you down there, we do invite you to stay seated so everybody gets a great view. Right now, Bill Stein is high and overhead as he prepares for this down and dirty power aerobatic routine. He'll be working his way inbound as we now launch yet another F-22 Raptor as part of our show. That'll be part of the F-22 Raptor demonstration team that'll be coming up here at just about 2:10 this afternoon. Piloted today by Captain Nick Letourneau, call sign Laz. He'll be demonstrating to us the full combat and flight capabilities, rather, of the F-22 Raptor in today's demonstration. High and overhead right now, you will see the smoke is on as we welcome a gentleman brought to you by Lycon Aircraft Engines, CJ Aviation, Champion Aerospace, Hartzell Propeller, Soft Emergency Parachutes, B&C Specialty Products, Spot GPS Systems, and Two Bro Aviation. Please make welcome Mr. Bill Stein. Into the vertical, we watch Bill Stein as he climbs skyward, running out of airspeed as he now caps it off on the top. As he prepares to drop this aircraft out of the sky, take a look as he puts this airplane into a fully developed knife edge spin. That airplane is no longer flying, but rather falling at some 4,000 feet per minute. Only around right at here does he reconnect with the air. Those wings doing what they do when he flies out of it with just about 500 feet to spare. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to our show in Aviation Nation, Mr. Bill Stein. Up and over the top. Bill, as I mentioned, one of the most accomplished aerobatic pilots any place, and by far the most friendly. He has incredible credentials as a coach, as a formation pilot, and a solo aerobatic performer as he completes this, a maneuver he calls the Nicolator. Looking at around 220 miles an hour right now, we talk a lot about the G-forces that these pilots pull. And during this routine, we'll actually see Bill pull upwards to some 12 times the force of gravity. We'll watch him now as he goes nose for tail, tail for nose, into this maneuver he calls the Chandalanche, named in remembrance of the great Shandy Clanton, a wonderful aerobatic pilot. As we stand here on Earth, we are at 1G, or 1 times the force of gravity, but as Bill pulls back on the stick like this right now, there it is, he actually gets pushed into the seat with upwards at times to about 12 Gs. What does that mean? Well, if you were a 200-pound person like me, you then weigh 2,400 pounds in that cockpit. It is incredibly punishing indeed. This Zivco Edge 540, capable of some incredible maneuvers as we see 3 rapid snap rolls and some opposite aileron rolls as he dives back in towards show center for his next maneuver. Bill's passion for precision flying is evident in every single move he makes, and he practices nearly every day to keep his skills razor sharp. And you can see why as he continues to tumble this thing around in a maneuver he calls the spiraling tower. Hanging on that Hartzell propeller, there's 1 turn going in for 2 flat spins and a half, putting the airplane exactly where he wants it each and every time. Let's give it up, everybody, for Bill Stein and the spiraling tower. During Bill's performance, he will at times be actually using the gyroscopic force of the engine and the propeller to at times appear to be seemingly out of control. There are moments where he's along for the ride, but he knows exactly when to put in the right input so he can get the right output and get back into controlled flight once again. Pushing himself and this aircraft to the absolute limits. And he will now set up from the right for a maneuver he likes to call the slide winder. Let's take a look now to the right as he dives in with airspeeds in excess of 220 miles an hour. Picking up our show line, watch as he pushes on the 45, look for the rolls, and now the forward stick, forward rudder, continuing to roll the airplane. There we go, there's the knife edge tumble. And completing the slide winder maneuver with a snap. Now you may have noticed Bill's very special paint job that he has on this Zivco Edge 540. It's got a chroma flare paint job and it actually allows it to change color. You'll see some purple and some green and some yellows and oranges and blues. It all depends on how the light approaches the airplane. That's not a cheap paint job, that's for sure. Now, he's off to the left. He's in relatively slow speed flight. And that's our indication he's setting up for a series of maneuvers he likes to call the dinks. Check this out. We're going to watch him. That even at relatively slow speed flight, this airplane remains remarkably maneuverable. Watch him. Forward stick, forward rudder, and around he goes. And he will do that in a couple of different directions down the show line. Again, showcasing the incredible performance of one of the most sought after aerobatic monoplanes. Pulling back on the stick. Watch as he eases the stick back into his lap right there as he flies the airplane up into a loop. Probably one of the most docile maneuvers of his routine today. And of course performed flawlessly by Mr. Bill Stein. I don't know about you, but that's a whole lot of hashtag nope me. He is going to recover from the centrifuge, and I want you to take a look at this next maneuver. He's going to pull up into the vertical. for a figure that's called a torque roll. He is actually going to use the torque of the engine and the propeller turning one direction, with him turning the opposite direction to, in fact, hover this aircraft and stop it in one spot in the sky. It was a maneuver first invented back in 1972 by the great Charlie Hillard. As he backs it up, there's 50, 60, 70 miles an hour in reverse. What do you think about that in Ellis Air Force Base? Let's put our hands together for Bill Stein and the torque roll. There's the super slow roll down the line. One of the most graceful maneuvers, but by far one of the most challenging to perform well. As we continue to watch that chroma flare paint change color. Bill Stein is a guy who just loves this kind of stuff, and of course loves sharing it with others as well. Not only as a full-time aerobatic and airshow performer, but also that of a coach for many up-and-coming airshow performers. We're going to watch him now as he performs the quadruple avalanche. It's an avalanche that's, well, a loop with a roll on the top. He's going to roll it 4 times. Let's watch him now as he reaches the top, about 80 miles an hour. There's 1, there's 2, 3, and 4. Another big round of applause for Bill Stein and the quadruple avalanche. A quick 4-point hesitation roll to air show left, as he will now pull it into the vertical once again. Bill Stein, an absolute legend in our air show business. He was the 2016 recipient of the International Council of Air Shows Sword of Excellence, the 2021 recipient of the Art Show Memorial Showmanship Award, and it was also in 2015 that he was inducted into the ICAS Air Show Hall of Fame for his contributions as a pilot with the world-famous Red Baron Pizza Squadron. Setting up now, this is a maneuver he calls the Woo-Wee Tumble. This is where the woo-wee comes into play. Bill Stein says stolen from the master himself. Some of you know who that is, a man who said a lot of woo-wees over the years, aptly named. This Edge 540 built from the ground up to perform exactly what you're seeing right now. You won't find any cup holders. You won't find any air conditioning. And for those pilots that do this kind of flying, after they perform their routine, it looks like they've just encountered maybe an hour and a half hard workout. What a way to burn some calories. From the right, here's the inverted pass, hanging upside down just from his shoulder harnesses, his 5-point harness keeping him firmly into the seat. Watch for that 400-degree roll rate right about now. There's the roll and the pitch. Bill Stein, again, a legend in our business, a surface-level aerobatic performer, in case you haven't mentioned, and at times will be down at, well, we like to call jackrabbit scaring altitudes, but right now, he is setting up for a tribute, a maneuver that makes the Edge 540, again, one of those most impressive aerobatic aircraft. It's his salute to an aircraft that's about to be retired in a few months. It's the Aviation Harrier II. This is the Harrier Pass. Take a look as he slows this thing down to as slow of an airspeed as possible. Not as much wind at altitude here today, as he now tracks across the ground at about 10 or perhaps 15 miles an hour. And with enough gust, he can actually fly this airplane backwards. Puffing a little smoke. Look how slow he's going, hanging on the prop of that Hartzell propeller, and of course the pilot skill of Mr. Bill Stein, the Zivco Edge 540. Let's put our hands together for his salute to the mighty Harrier. It's Bill Stein and the Harrier Pass. Bill would like to thank his sponsors, to include Lycon Aircraft Engines, CJ Aviation, Champion Aerospace, Hartzell Propeller, Goodyear Aviation, Softy Emergency Parachutes, BNC Specialty Products, Spot GPS Systems, and 2Bro Aviation. Coming by now from the right in what he likes to call slideways flight, as he slides it, showcasing that incredible rudder authority, his wave for all of you here at Aviation Nation 2025. He has been cleared to land. How about a very nice round of applause, Las Vegas, for Mr. Bill Stein. Impressive flying, as always, by Mr. Bill Stein. Always a pleasure to work with him at air shows across the country. Here's what's going to happen, everybody. We're going to get Bill Stein recovered, and we work our way to the backstretch of our flying display here today. And as Bill works his way in, we again want to say a big thanks to many of our partners who have stepped up to be part of this year's show and have supported this weekend for all of you to come out and enjoy. We want to say a big shout out to the Formula One Las Vegas Grand Prix. They're located down by the Inspire exhibit. That's located all the way down to Air Show Right. And you can stop by, say hello, and check out some F1 stuff down in that direction. And we also want to say a big thanks to our friends at Victory Capital. They're on site, ready to help you achieve your financial goals. You can visit them today in the sponsorship booth area to learn how you can start investing and grab a free one-of-a-kind wooden airplane to celebrate Aviation Nation. We say thanks to Victory Capital for their support. Also, thanks to Texas Roadhouse. Join them tonight for a feast. They're conveniently located 5 miles down the road on East. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've got a quick question for you. Are you having a good time? Nope, not acceptable. We'll try that one more time. It's warm today. Are you Las Vegas having a good time? Yeah, that's better. Us too. Well, in just a moment, we're about to turn things over to your United States Air Force as we welcome to our show that of the F-22 Raptor. It is my pleasure now to introduce to you the voice of today's F-22 Raptor demonstration from Joint.
Superintendent Master Sergeant Brady Pummel from Kansas City, Kansas. As a proud member of Air Combat Command's 1st Fighter Wing, located at Langley Air Force Base in Hampton, Virginia, it is my distinct pleasure for you to describe to you today a capability demonstration by the most technologically advanced 5th-generation stealth fighter aircraft in the world. The F-22 Raptor's mission is air dominance. It supports our joint forces and allies to freely operate in today's joint fight, anytime, anywhere. And now, introducing your 2025 F-22 demonstration team. From Atlantic City, New Jersey, Dedicated Crew Chief, Staff Sergeant John Carnock. From Hampton, Virginia, Assistant Dedicated Crew Chief, Senior Airman Andrew Leitner. From Fort Worth, Texas, Avionics Technician, Senior Airman Logan Wongapaivong. From St. Petersburg, Florida, Avionics Technician, Senior Airman Nick Wisnowski. From Rayburn, Georgia, AFE Specialist, Staff Sergeant Tessa Hickerson. And from Canacito, New York, Public Affairs Officer, Staff Sergeant Lauren Coben. From Richmond, Virginia, F-22 Demo Team Chief, Technical Sergeant Eric Tallman. And from Cypress, Texas, our Safety Officer and Combat-Ready Fighter Pilot, Major Colton Dingo Huntsman. And your 2025 F-22 demonstration fighter pilot with more than 600 hours in the F-22 Raptor from New York Mills, Minnesota, Captain Nicholas Laturno. You are about to witness the maneuvering capabilities of the most advanced and most lethal fighter aircraft in your United States Air Force. The F-22 you will see today is an unmodified and fully combat-capable aircraft. While we can't show you everything that makes the Raptor the most lethal fighter aircraft in the world, we will show you its raw power and thrust-vectored maneuvering capabilities as it executes maneuvers that no other fighter aircraft in the world can perform. As today's demonstration begins, from your right, you will see the Raptor execute a maximum power takeoff, producing 70,000 pounds of thrust from its powerful F-119 engines. The Raptor will virtually leap off the runway in an amazing 1,000 feet. At a safe altitude, Captain Laturno will quickly loop the aircraft, reversing the flight path, then roll while diving straight down.
Temperature Raptor 1, full to a high tail, push 1, push out, push 2.
So now it's time to stand up. Move forward and get ready. The show is about to begin. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the most feared aircraft in the world today, your United States Air Force F-22 Raptor! Raptor's advanced flight controls combined with its powerful engines allow the F-22 to pull more than 9 times the force of gravity. Watch now from the right as the Raptor demonstrates its tight turn capability with a min-radius horizontal turn and power straight up into the vertical. Then watch as Captain Turno changes its direction with the amazing J-turn reposition. The firepower of the Raptor comes in any combination of 8 missiles and up to 8 precision satellite-guided bombs. The F-22 is the first supersonic, multi-role, and highly agile stealth fighter in the world with a fully internal combat weapons load. Ready your camera as the Raptor banks in from the left and cycles its weapons bay doors. Folks, if you've ever wondered where those bombs and missiles hide, here is your answer. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to dedicate this pass to the men and women of the armed forces and their families who support them. We would also like to remember our wounded warriors, veterans in attendance, and those who have given their lives defending this great nation. This will be your best photo opportunity, so get your cameras ready to capture this salute. And now, from behind and to the right, the F-22 Raptor proudly presents the dedication. The F-22 possesses the ability to point its nose at will, even at extremely low airspeeds and high angles of attack. Watch closely as the aircraft pulls into the vertical and executes a 360-degree aileron roll. At altitude, the jet will flip backwards and level off and execute an immediate 360-degree flat turn, then reverse the turn in the opposite direction, all in under 3,500 feet of altitude and under complete control. Our Raptor will now quickly reposition and show you what those advanced flight controls and engines can do. As it executes the power loop, you'll see why the aircraft is unmatched in vertical flight as it carves through a loop and doubles its altitude at the end. At the top of the loop, you'll see the Raptor rotate around one spot in the sky, utilizing its thrust vectoring of two powerful F-119 engines, which can literally flip the aircraft through the vertical and back to level flight. Following the power loop, you'll see the Raptor perform the loaded roll. Many jets can turn tight, many jets can roll quickly, and many jets can climb fast, but not many can slide. Watch now from behind as the Raptor flies over, pulls straight up into the vertical, and brings his throttles to near idle. And then under complete control, the F-22 Raptor will actually slide backwards. The Raptor's slow speed handling characteristics are phenomenal. Watch now as Captain Letourneau repositions the aircraft to crowd right, reducing the power, slowing the Raptor down to less than 90 knots and loading up on high angles of attack. After the pass, you'll once again feel the raw power of the jet as Captain Letourneau lights those afterburners and climbs straight into the vertical. Ladies and gentlemen, from the right, the Raptor's power loop to slow speed pass. The F-22 possesses the capability to reach speeds and altitudes that make it virtually untouchable even without using its afterburners. Accelerating from 90 knots to over 600, Capilano will now roll inverted in preparation for the split S reposition and a high-speed pass, showcasing just a fraction of the aircraft's supercruise and full-speed capability. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare for Freedom's Thunder on the high-speed pass. The F-22 will now set up to perform a Hoover pitch. This maneuver is a double knife edge separated by an inverted tuck, followed by a pitch to line up in preparation for heritage flight. This will be another great photo opportunity to capture the Raptor on your camera during our demonstration. Ladies and gentlemen, named after the late legendary Bob Hoover, the Raptor's Hoover pitch. Gentlemen, I would like to take a moment to describe the unique history of what you are about to watch. In 1997, the leaders of Air Combat Command assembled a select group of retired military and civilian performers to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the United States Air Force. In 2010, the Air Force Heritage Flight Foundation joined with the United States Air Force to keep this popular program flying. From this gathering was born the Heritage Flight, a unique visual representation of Air Force history from the days of the Army Air Corps to the present. What started out as a one-time event has grown in popularity and demand, and now Heritage Flights are performed at air shows and special events in the United States and around the world. Please turn with me now and watch this rare formation approach from the right. Flying in formation today is a Vietnam-era F-5 Tiger II, piloted by Tommy Limiter Williams, as well as a U.S. Air Force F-22, piloted by Captain Nicholas Laz Letourneau. We would like to dedicate today's Heritage Flight to all the military veterans in attendance whose sacrifices over the years have helped preserve America's freedom. We hope you enjoyed watching this rare formation of classic and current United States Air Force aircraft on our journey from heritage to horizons. Ladies and gentlemen, your United States Air Force Heritage Flight. We hope you enjoyed watching and taking pride in this rare display of more than 80 years of air power heritage.
Day 2 of the Aviation Nation Air Show rolling on. Dan Hawkins, Caitlin Jones-Martin, and some awesome air acts still in the air right now. The Thunderbirds coming up about 3:45 local time, but we have another rock star with us right now.
Absolutely. As you continue to watch and enjoy Aviation Nation, we have to tell you, along with me mispronouncing Nevada yesterday and going with Nevada, we also missed a vital leader here at Nellis Air Force Base. General Sullivan wanted to make sure we didn't leave out his deputy commander of the 57th Wing, and we managed to track him down. So Colonel Ethan Saban, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate being here, and I'm still looking for that rock star you guys were talking about, but hopefully we'll get eyes on that guy soon. So, yeah.
As the deputy of the 57th Wing, can you tell us a little bit about what that means and what you do on a daily basis?
Yeah, sure, you bet. So here at the 57th Wing, our mission is high-end training. Like, we set the conditions to train the warfighter so that he or she can go out and first and foremost deter, and if required, go out and fight and win. I mean, that's our job, right? So my job as a deputy is to make sure to turn General Sullivan's vision into action. And right now, we want to remain America's air power proving ground, and so I have to make sure that happens on a day-to-day basis. That's my primary job.
Wow, and we know that's a busy job with everything that happens here. We're going to talk about Red Flag. Obviously, you know a lot about that. We're going to talk about the Air Force Weapons School. But first, I just wanted to ask, what inspired you to join the Air Force, and what path did you take? What was your Air Force journey like?
Yeah, stand by for cliche. So I actually watched Top Gun and Iron Eagle as a young kid. Kind of got the bug, and then ever since, just been revisiting. Ultimately, what drove me to my first aircraft, so I started off flying the A-10. My brother joined the Army, and so when I got into pilot training, I had the opportunity to make a selection. I wanted to make sure that I was providing close air support to the guy on the ground, since my brother was an Army officer. So that's kind of what drove me. Yeah.
I love it when I hear A-10 pilots talk about that close air support, because it's such a vital role of the lethality and readiness of the Department of Defense. Another vital role is the U.S. Air Force Weapons School, which is only right here at Nellis, correct?
100% it is. So the Air Force Weapons School, 2 classes per year. We have an Alpha class and a Bravo class. The Alpha class typically runs January to June, Bravo July to December. They're on the order of about 150 students that participate in each class, and usually we see on the order of 10 to 25% attrition. So it's not an easy course. The students that come here, they're the lead instructors in their squadrons, and then ultimately when we get them here and the weapons school puts them through the curriculum, we make them better. So they do that through a series of phased training, which ultimately culminates in what's called Weapons School Integration, or WISNT, as it's colloquially known. And during WISNT, the instructors and the cadre give the students the most difficult, the most challenging tactical and operational level problems. The students then have to digest that information, integrate a bunch of capabilities, come up with a game plan, brief that game plan, execute the game plan, and then most importantly on the back end, debrief that plan to identify the root causes behind any errors and identify lessons learned for the CAF, or the Combat Air Forces. These folks are truly, when they go out with the patch on their shoulder, they are the instructors of instructors. They're the lead integrators for combatant commands and major commands, and they're truly exceptional. Their motto is humble, credible, and approachable. And believe me, as I engage with these guys on a day-to-day basis, the cadre, the students, and the institution are truly that, and they live up to it each day. It's pretty remarkable what they do.
So I see you have the patch, obviously being
a
graduate. You said your 3rd time now at Nellis.
Correct.
What year did you go through weapons school, and what was that experience like as a student?
Yeah, this thing should have a expiration date on it at this point, so my tactical credibility is out the window. But I went through in 2010, so Class 10 Alpha in the A-10. The experience as a student was no less than the most challenging thing I've done. I hope you guys got that on camera. So typically, any one assignment that you're given in the weapons school, whether it's the research paper that you have to do, the flying itself, the briefing, the academics, any one of those things by themselves is manageable. But when you kludge them all together, and you kludge them all together in about a 6-month time frame, it is extremely challenging. It's a lot of pressure. I mean, it is a pressure cooker, and it weeds out those who don't necessarily want to be there. But it was a fantastic experience. I learned a ton, and I am who I am today from having gone through that school.
So that sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah.
And just talk to the reason behind why we do things like that here at Nellis, why we're doing so much real-world training here at Nellis, and why it's so important, the weapons school, the red flag, to our pilots and the rest of the crew.
Yeah, so it's often said that, what happens at Nellis can only happen at Nellis, and it's 100% true. A lot of this stuff doesn't happen just with the 57 wing. So we have our mission partners with the NTTR, the Nevada Test and Training Range. So that is truly a national treasure, which allows us to go out there and train to the high-end fight. We also have, the capabilities within the 57 wing, like the aggressor fleet. So our 64th aggressors, our 4th gen F-16 platforms, and the 65th with the F-35 5th gen platform. Again, what happens here can only happen here. There just isn't another kind of location CONUS-wide that has the capabilities that we can bring to bear.
So we watched the Sam Ekholm video on YouTube about Red Flag. If you haven't seen it, you should dial it up, Google it up. It's a great watch.
Yeah.
But my question for you is, as it evolves over time and now 50 years of Red Flag, how and what makes it so unique that it's the premier combat readiness exercise?
Well, as you guys probably know, so the hypothesis was when this thing started, right, if a Blue 4 or a young wingman could survive his first 10 missions in combat, they're going to survive the entire tour. So that the thought was, well, let's create an exercise that can replicate that. Let's give the young warfighter the most challenging tactical problem they can possibly see, and then that will prepare them for combat. It has since evolved, and we are now a joint coalition, multi-domain, if not all-domain exercise that is pretty much just expanding in scope and scale every time we go out and do it. And it's truly a remarkable exercise. Right now, we have 3 usually iterations of Red Flag that we do at TAC 1, 2, and 3. We've added on the newly coined Bamboo Eagle exercise, so operational C2 and readiness, to the back end of the TAC 1 and the TAC 3 series of exercises. So we are truly expanding the scope and scale of Red Flag as well as just CAF or Combat Air Force level training.
Yeah, it's really become the premier
100%
exercise,
100%.
No question.
Yeah.
And the coverage that Sam got was really incredible stuff.
It was.
To watch. What is it about Nellis now 3 times that really speaks to you personally?
I think, one of the kind of unique things is you come through the gate, you see the sign, it says home of the fighter pilot. I mean, it's true. Fighter pilot is a mentality, as General Robin Olds once kind of said, right? It's a get after it mentality. It means regardless of the circumstances or the challenges that you may face on a day-to-day basis, everyone shows up and gives a good faith, honest broker effort to get after it and get the job done. That's what I love about this place, and I'll never forget it.
It's nice to be on a winning team.
Yeah, it is.
For sure.
100%.
You mentioned General Olds. Who else kind of comes to mind when you think about who inspires you as a pilot? Heroes in Aviation is the theme of this year's Aviation Nation. Does anybody specific come to your mind?
I mean, there's a ton, right? Eddie Rickenbacker, Billy Mitchell. I mean, you could go down the list. Ira Bong, Bud Day from the Vietnam era. There's so many that have come before us that I aspire and look up to. So couldn't name a single one. There's just a lot of them.
It's just the collective. It's like you said, the mentality of the fighter pilot, right?
You got it.
And here at the home of the fighter pilot, Nellis Air Force Base, with the 57th Wing Deputy Commander. Thank you, sir, so much for coming on the show. And thank you so much for having us here with the 2nd Audio-Visual Squadron broadcasting live on the Facebook page. Just truly an honor.
Now, Caitlin, Dan, my pleasure, and thanks for coming out and supporting the air show this year. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
It's Colonel Ethan Sabin, the vice commander, I should say, of the 57th Wing. Can't just randomly promote people on the show.
Dan has the power.
You can do anything once.
The legend over here. As we just watched the T-38 come in from the Heritage Flight demonstration that they did here with the F-22, and Vicky Benzing taking to the sky right now in her P-51 Mustang. Plum crazy. It's Dan's favorite aircraft out here, of course, and we just have a couple of more demonstrations until the Thunderbirds will take to the skies here at Aviation Nation 2025.
Is that a cyber? I see a cyber truck over there.
Oh my gosh. Well,
you see everything at the air show.
Yeah, you see a little bit of everything. As you look into our broadcast center here, that is us right here, front row seats with the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds in the background. Home of the fighter pilot, home of the Thunderbirds. And we're going to talk to a few special guests here in just a few moments about what it takes to put on an air show of this magnitude and just how you get This is a logistical feat in and of itself, Dan. Just opening an entire active military installation to the public for an entire weekend is something that is just an incredible feat of logistics.
So we'll kick it back out to the Air Boss so you can watch Vicki Benzing for a few minutes. We'll be back right after this and talk all about those logistics.
Legend Wayne Handling. She began competing in aerobatic competitions, working her way up the various levels, and began performing at local air shows. Today, she's in high demand around the country as one of the smoothest warbird flyers in the nation. Giving you a look at what this aircraft would look like at the National Championship air races previously held in Reno, Nevada. In the turn, high speed and less than 100 feet above the deck. In her first year of racing, Vicki was chosen as the Rookie of the Year, having won her first race ever. It was in 2015 that she became the fastest woman racer, setting a new record in the jet class, flying an Aero L-39 Albatross to some 469 miles an hour. In September of 2023, she flew this P-51 Plum Crazy to a fourth-place finish in the coveted Unlimited class. She is the second only woman to have raced in the Unlimited class in the air race's entire 59-year history. Vicki is very proud to be sponsored by California Aeronautical University, where they are training the next generation of aviators. CAU students are on the fast track to rewarding aviation careers designed for efficiency. Their bachelor's degree program allows students to start flying in their first term and complete the program in just 3 years. We invite you to visit the California Aeronautical University display near the hot pit area and online at calaero.edu. CAU is also excited to serve as a partner university with United Airlines and several regional air carriers, offering CAU students a direct, streamlined route to the airlines. CAU students can also enjoy some of the newest collegiate aviation fleets in the business. We watch again from the left as Vicki Benzing approaches in this, the North American P-51 Mustang Plum Crazy. In a maneuver in tribute to our veterans, past and present, a big round of applause for Vicki Benzing in the 8-point hesitation roll. This aircraft represents everything that is great about America, the ingenuity, the dedication, the determination to win that America had during the 1940s. We're going to watch her again from the right as we enjoy the sights and sounds of this most iconic air racer. She wants to thank Apex Aerospace Corporation, Concord Batteries, Tempest, Gleim Aviation, Oregon Aero, Lift Aviation, Best Tugs, Method 7 Performance Optics, and California Aeronautical University. She is going to set up for one more pass as part of today's performance, giving you a final look at this iconic purple P-51. And I'll give you a great look right down into the cockpit as she approaches from behind and to our left. At some 350 miles an hour from the left in parade review, Miss Vicki Benzing and the P-51 Plum Crazy. To learn more about Vicki Benzing and her P-51, you can learn more about her online at vickibenzing.com. Ladies and gentlemen, making her recovery now, please join me in one final round of applause for Vicki Benzing and her performance in the air racing P-51 known as Plum Crazy. Well, as we recover the P-51 Mustang to our right, we set up now for our final demonstration before we turn things over to the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds at 3:35 this afternoon, and they are members of the Red Bull Air Force. In front of us, you will see a guy who is a Red Bull Air Race World Champion. His name is Kirby Chambliss, and he's flying the Zivco Edge 540. He will be joined by that of Aaron Fitzgerald in the Bocow BO-105 helicopter, and also our jumpers of Mike Brewer, Amy Shimalecki, and Sean McCormick. Watch now as the smoke comes on as he's been cleared for takeoff in a signature maneuver as Kirby Chambliss now reaches about 80 miles an hour. This is the Cobra. Beginning this high-octane aerobatic routine in style. This is going to be a multi-faceted aerobatic performance with so much going on in the next couple of minutes. We're going to watch Kirby Chambliss to our left as he picks up our show line once again as he pulls his aircraft into the vertical to get this incredible performance started. The Red Bull Air Force and the members thereof represent some of the most impressive aviation professionals on the planet, and they have made their way here to Nellis Air Force Base this weekend to be part of this show at Aviation Nation. We're going to watch Kirby Chambliss now into the vertical as he now draws the 90-degree upline. Watch for the snap roll as he continues to work his way up to altitude. Don't mind Aaron Fitzgerald to the left. More on that in just a couple of moments. Watch Kirby now as he pushes forward into a forward somersault and now recovers just about 250 feet above the ground. As he continues low and to our left, I want to direct your attention high and overhead where you will see that Bocow BO-105 helicopter. In just a few moments, we are going to be seeing two of our jumpers, that of Amy Shimalecki and Mike Brewer, and they are going to be jumping with what are known as swoop chutes, and we'll be departing that helicopter at any moment from now. Kirby Chambliss right down on the deck as he continues to pull back on the stick into the vertical once again. A guy who was one of the youngest pilots ever to serve and participate with Southwest Airlines as a captain. He's going to continue to tear it up for us here today. Let's put our hands together for Kirby Chambliss. He's clear, and we've got jumpers away, ladies and gentlemen. Take a look. That's Mike Brewer and Amy Shimalecki. And out of that helicopter, quickly accelerating to terminal velocity freefall of about 120 miles an hour. Pull on a small leather ball located by their left hips. They deploy these parachutes known as swoop chutes. They are fast canopies, and their surface area much smaller than that of the PJs that we had the chance to see a little bit earlier. These swoop chutes, remarkably maneuverable, and have a forward speed, depending on how you wind them up, to some 70 miles per hour. They're going to continue to work their way down from altitude. Take a look at the smoke as they work their way into our target area in front of the Thunderbirds. Mike Brewer and Amy Shimalecki, some of the most impressive skydivers with tens of thousands, no kidding, of parachute jumps to their credit. They are low enough where they can hear you. Let's make some noise, Nellis, and get them in right on target. continuing to work their way down faster than a speeding ticket at about 65 miles an hour. First a touchdown, that of Amy Shimalecki, and also that of Mike Brewer. Let's give it up for them. Oh yeah, showcasing to you why Red Bull gives you wings. Now I want you to take a look as we keep the action going high and to the right. You will see a couple of puffs of smoke. We're going to welcome next our next jumper, that of Sean McCormick. He's got over 25,000 parachute jumps, and he is flying a wingsuit. Take a look as he now works his way over to around 120 or so miles an hour as Kirby Chambliss circles with his smoke. There's the deployment of the chute. Flying his body using a series of panels that actually allows him to have flight controls to roll and pitch and do some incredible things. These type of wingsuits can actually garner that of about a 3-to-1 glide ratio. They can actually track for miles and miles. There's a recent video on the internet of the Red Bull Air Force jumping out of a C-17 where they came out the back, deployed the wings, and actually went up. Look that up when you get some time. Sean McCormick continuing to work his way down, and if you look very closely, you will see a couple of flaps dangling in the wind. He unzipped what he did of those panels that we were talking about to give it a little more maneuverability, and he's going to be working his way in from the left into our landing area. For a beautiful stand-up landing, let's put our hands together for Sean McCormick. Now, direct your attention to our left as things continue to be fast and furious as we welcome next to our show a guy named Aaron Fitzgerald. He's a pretty special individual. Why? Because he's one of the only guys in the world authorized to do that. Fly aerobatics in a helicopter as Kirby Chambliss continues to corkscrew around with his smoke. Watch for the pull. Yeah, that's just unnatural. Off to the right. In synchronized flight, we're going to watch Kirby Chambliss as he runs all out of up, performing a bit of a hover. And Aaron Fitzgerald repositioning to our right as well. Aaron Fitzgerald joins us from Wenatchee, Washington. He previously served in the U.S. Army as a paratrooper in the 82nd Airborne Division. He's a helicopter pilot, as you know, but one of only around 3 in the world authorized to perform aerobatics legally. This guy has flown in various other capacities, such as utility flying in mountainous terrain and offshore support. He's even flown in test programs for NASA and Lockheed Martin and has been the aerial coordinator for many aviation projects and many motion pictures. We're going to watch him now to the left as Kirby goes past the moon upside down. And Aaron Fitzgerald continues to do things in this helicopter that would have kept Igor Sikorsky up at night as he now rolls the helicopter over. He's got the collective and the cyclic. And believe it or not, it's not that violent in the cockpit, but if they asked me to go for a ride, the answer solidly is no. We're going to watch him again from the right in this incredible display of airmanship. What do you think, Nellis Air Force Base? Let's put our hands together for Aaron Fitzgerald in the BoCal BO-105. Now in this next sequence of maneuvers, Aaron's going to climb on up. Another backflip all the way around. Helicopters are not supposed to do that. Aaron's a great guy and was actually awarded the Medal of Valor for rescuing 2 flight crew members from a burning helicopter. And in addition to his air show and movie work, he flies UH-60 Blackhawks in firefighting contracts with the Forest Service battling forest fires in the western United States. He grew up near an airfield where there would be fire bombers there. He loved going to the airport, watching them take off, and it inspired him to become a pilot. And never in his wildest dreams would he ever thought that he would have been flying a Bocal BO-105 and being paid to do so upside down. We are seeing it big time here today, ladies and gentlemen. Let's again put our hands together for the Red Bull Air Force. Aaron joined the Red Bull Air Force in 2017. He's going to continue to work his way off to our left and set up for one of my favorite maneuvers. This is called a bow turn. Let's watch him. Oh, there's a forward collective and the whole deal spinning around inverted. Absolutely incredible. He's going to continue to come by and again showcase to you this helicopter. This is the Bo 105. It was built in the 1960s for aeromedical evacuation, and what makes it special and allows it to do what you're seeing here today is because of a titanium rotor system and a titanium rotor head that keeps those rotors from flexing as other helicopters do. That keeps it from overflexing and perhaps cutting the tail off. That wouldn't be a good thing. You certainly can't do this in most helicopters. The Bo 105, a staple of the Flying Bulls fleet. Now Aaron's going to come around to give you another good look at this helicopter, and a bit of a salute to you as well, circling in front of the air traffic control tower. That's a great shot. He's going to set up for a bow. Watch him as he works his way into the hovering mode now. He can see you. How about a big wave, everybody, for Aaron Fitzgerald? Thank you, Aaron, very much indeed. With Aaron now clear, we now direct our attention high and to the right. And welcome back to our aerobatic box, that of Kirby Chambliss and the Red Bull Zivco Edge 540. Let's watch him now as he dives in with speeds in excess of 250 miles an hour. This aircraft, one of several that he owns, and he also has a new helicopter. He's learning to fly helicopters as well, and he flies actually from his home in Arizona. It allows Kirby to wake up, work out, get some Korean barbecue, go flying, and be back for afternoon TV. Kirby Chambliss and his introduction to aerobatic flight began quite by accident. When he was 21 years old, he was flying as a corporate pilot for a major hotel chain. And the chief pilot was a smart guy and said, hey, Kirby, if this jet ever ends up upside down with the CEO on board, we want to make sure you can turn it right side up without hurting everyone. Kirby says, makes sense to me. And from that point on, flying has been more than Kirby has ever imagined. Today, he's logged more than 27,000 hours of flight time and has traveled the world performing aerobatic displays and racing with Red Bull, and is by far one of the most accomplished aerobatic pilots any place. Let's put our hands together for Kirby Chambliss. Continuing to tear it up in the Zivco Edge 540, doing maneuvers once thought to be impossible some 30 years ago. These airplanes are no longer structurally limited, but rather only limited by the pilot's stamina and the pilot's capabilities inside. Weighing in at around 1,200 pounds and nearly 375 horsepower, it allows Kirby to perform some incredible maneuvers with a thrust-to-weight ratio of nearly 1-to-1. There's another demonstration of that into a Cobra and the smallest inside loop we've seen all day. By the early 2000s, Kirby was recognized as one of the top 15 aerobatic pilots in the world, where he was asked to compete in the very first Red Bull Air race. He transferred his explosive, aggressive flying style to the racetrack, and today is a two-time Red Bull Air Race world champion. Though the air races discontinued in 2019, Kirby is proud of his experiences traveling the world and representing Red Bull on an international level. He fits right in with his other interests, running, skydiving, and motocross, and he recently picked up helicopters. Why? Just because he can. There's a knife edge tumble. Oh, that's gotta hurt. Kirby is now gonna set up and work his way into the freestyle portion of this aerobatic routine, going a bit off script to play with every inch of our aerobatic box. Right down at Jackrabbit, scaring altitudes at times. Kirby most comfortable down close to the ground as he is upside down. Continuing to tear it up, it's Kirby Chambliss. You are seeing a titan in our air show business. Kirby, the 2022 recipient of the Art Show Memorial Showmanship Award and the 2024 Bill Barber Award for Showmanship, two of the highest honors given within our air show community. Slowing it down from the right. Cameras at the ready as he sets up for his signature maneuver. Once again, striking out of nowhere, it's the Cobra. Saying hello to some of our international visitors over there in the revetment area, those F-16s. Kirby Chambliss of the Red Bull Edge 540. He wants to thank Piper Aircraft, Tempest, Precision Air Motive, Parker Aerospace, MGL Avionics, Concord Batteries, Goodyear Aviation, MT Propeller, AC Air Technology, Skydive Arizona, Aircraft Spruce and Specialty, and High Performance Aircraft. He also wants to thank his friends at Red Bull, showcasing that Red Bull gives you wings. Ladies and gentlemen, for the 2025 Aviation Nation Air Show here at Nellis Air Force Base, let's put our hands together for the members of the Red Bull Air Force and that spectacular demonstration. Kirby Chambliss out there playing with the trees like they're Red Bull Air Race pylons. This guy is absolutely incredible. He's going to recover. Well, it is about that time. that we turn things over. He's not done. He's just rolling on landing. That's normal. It's Kirby. This airplane's basically a dirt bike with wings. But we're about to turn things over to the United States Air Force Thunderbirds. And as we set up for the team, we do have a couple of housekeeping items we want to share with you before we turn things to them. First and foremost, as we have a couple of minutes to go, now is a great time to take a pit stop if you need to. Maybe grab something to drink, something to eat, perhaps a ice cream for the kids, or even a refreshing soft drink to enjoy during their show. Now is a good time because we've got a couple of minutes before we turn things over to them at 3:35 this afternoon. And of course, there's no question that there are many of you here with us today, and we want you to be mindful and courteous as you make your way out. Nellis Air Force Base, not exactly designed to handle so many of you and the Speedway, so we encourage you to follow the exit instructions from our airmen and be patient with that. That'll